Okay, thank you. Okay, great. Thank you so much for helping me set that up. All right, hi, nice to meet all of you again. Just to introduce myself, my name is Sarah. I'm a developer advocate for the Filecoin virtual machine, coming from Protocol Labs. So thank you so much to Zero-to-Dapp Conference for having me here today. Thanks, Vish from The Graph for inviting me over. This is really exciting. This is one of the few times that we're also sharing to a group that's outside of the Filecoin audience, because this is a very new product. So kind of a show of hands, how many of you know Filecoin? Okay, awesome. How many of you know Filecoin virtual machine? Okay, great. Now that's what I'm here to help you on for the rest of you who are not so used to it. And how many of you here are EVM developers? Deployed a smart contract before? Okay, great. So if you're an EVM developer and you've used Hardhat or if you've used Remix, I'm going to show you how it's really easy for you to deploy to FVM. But I'll walk you through the steps. We can go from zero to the step before you do a front end and get a full DApp. So it's kind of like the conference, but not exactly. I'll explain a little bit of what Filecoin Virtual Machine is and what it can actually do for you. And then once I get you on the starter kit, you can go back and start building the projects on your own. Yeah, sounds good? Cool. All right. So for those of you who are new to Filecoin or just want to know where the FVM comes into play, this is the Filecoin master plan. As a whole organization, this is what we're looking to do. Firstly, we want to build the world's largest decentralized storage network. So we have a lot of storage providers right now, and they have committed capacity. So we have, I think it's like 80 exabytes or something like that. It's a lot of data, a lot of storage capacity that we have on the network. As a step 2, which we are doing right now, is to onboard a lot of the data that is important to humanity. So we're looking for data sets that are really, for public good. We're funding a lot of that. At the same time, we're also opening up to the market for anyone who wants to pay to store. And then lastly, step 3 is to bring compute to data, which is where FVM comes in. So what that allows you to do is to compute over state data. So you're not actually opening up your data file to compute the data inside. You are computing over the metadata of your storage deals. So what that allows you to do is a lot of efficiency and reduce cost. So for example, if you were to write a smart contract in EVM, which we support today, we are fully EVM compatible. You don't have to write to storage to another storage service and pay for that service. And it's not in a native environment as well for you to access that for your DApp to run. Instead, you can write to FVM, and that can access all the metadata, and you should be able to run your DApp much more in a much more performant way. So as I just mentioned, the FVM project delivers on-chain programmability to the Filecoin network. That is what it's intended to do. So talking a little bit about the structure, so some of you might be familiar with hypervisors or the actor model, or even the Linux kernel. And so these are all inspiration points of how we've built out the FVM. So I always like to understand what it is that I'm building with, kind of like the architecture behind it, what's the concept before I just deploy it as a tool within my infrastructure or within my project itself. So if you're used to these concepts, you will kind of see how the FVM operates a little bit that way. What we also want, why we chose these few is so that we want to provide a VM or a base machine that can support a lot of machines and a lot of runtimes running on top of it, and we also want it to be a seamless connection across. So this is briefly on the FVM architecture. This is just to give you a sense of what you're building with. We use Wasm a lot. So Wasm is a core part of the FVM. It's really good for compilation. So any high-level languages that you are familiar with, let's say I used to like Python a lot. We're still building out for that. Not yet, maybe soon. But for Go, assembly script, Rust, we've actually built out a lot of SDKs to allow them to compile to Wasm and then let that run within the FVM. We also support Solidity as with being Ethereum EVM compatible, so that's where we're at today. And we're also hoping to support other foreign runtimes in the future. So things like Solana, Polygon, we want to be able to support that as well. That is later down in the roadmap, probably later 2023. So there's a few other things over here, but I'll talk a little bit about foreign addressing support and abstract accounts, because that's where it comes into play for the foreign runtimes. So if you look at the architecture over here, you'll see that we support 2 categories of actors. So if you think about actors, they are like a smart contract equivalent, but not exactly. So when you deploy your EVM, it then gets compiled down to bytecode, and then an actor is created in the Filecoin network through FVM to run that bytecode and let it operate within the Filecoin network. So that's why we call it actors. You can kind of think of it like the equivalent, but technically it's not exactly the same. But we have two categories here. So we have one category which is native. So if you're building natively within the FVM, you can build two subcategories of actors. One is system actors. These are fully built by the engineering team of FVM. So this is hard-coded into the network for you to interact with, and I'll touch a little bit on that in the demo. And then you have user-defined actors, which is for all of you to write. And then you have foreign actors, which is the other category, and that's over here with your EVM smart contracts, and we look to support other blockchains, as I mentioned earlier on. We want to be VM agnostic, so we're not specifically providing support for EVM per se, but we've constructed it such in a way that any VM can come on in the future and also utilize all the features that we've built for FVM to accommodate foreign runtimes. Cool. And then just to understand, like, these are actors that run on the FVM and then that runs on a Filecoin node. So Filecoin node would be like your storage provider. So that's how you are connected to the storage network to access all the storage deals that you have in the network itself. Cool. I won't touch too much about this, but this should give you an understanding. I talked about the WASM part. No specific EVM support. We want to be VM agnostic. Familiar tooling. So as of today, it works with Hardhat, Remix. Foundry works pretty well. We've had some feedback, but it's more or less being fixed, so Foundry should be good to go. Nobody has really tested with Truffle yet, so if you want to test it out and let us know, please do. Embedded addressing, we have, so you shouldn't be using anything else other than your Ethereum address. We've made it pretty seamless in the sense that we've created a whole new address class within FVM to then translate any Ethereum address that is being put in there, translated seamlessly into the Filecoin network to be recognized. So for you, on the user side, on the dev side, you will only be using your Ethereum address. And we'll see that in the workshop in a bit. Yeah. Cool. This is our bleeding edge testnet. It's called Wallaby. If you just put in like wallaby.network into your browser, you should be able to access it. This resets every single week. In fact, it's going to reset in an hour, so I hope we get through the workshop really quickly so that I think we'll make it in time, right, before anything gets reset. We have a more stable version coming on in, I think, in a month, or in 2 weeks' time, we have a more stable version coming on. We'll be having some hackathons with that as well, so look forward to building on Wallaby. Filecoin.sol is the library that I'm going to introduce, but we're not actually working with it today because we don't have enough time. But this is the library that we've built, so we want to make it as easy as accessing OpenZeppelin, but then allowing you to build the FEVM, which is the EVM-compatible version of FVM. So this piece is coming up. We have a few mock actors in place, like just mock actors for now. So if you're going to ETH India and you're going to be building a project, we do have FVM bounties there. We have some mock actors that you can actually use in your project itself, before the full version is built out in about 1 to 2 weeks. Cool, so today's workshop, we will be deploying an FEVM actor, which is the EVM-compatible version of FVM, from EVM tools to FVM. And specifically, we'll be using Hardhat, and then if we have time, I'll just show you a very simple deployment on Remix, just to prove that it works. Cool, so if you want to join me to build along, just get a sense of like who is going to attempt to build along with me today. Okay. All right, for the 5 people in the room, we'll be going to this workshop. For everyone else, you can kind of just take notes, and then when you go back, you can always try this out. But do take a photo. The starter kit is updated with the mock APIs as well, and we're continuously taking in PRs to update it. So if you have any feedback, send in a PR, we'll integrate it as well. I'll give you a second to take a photo here. Okay. All right, 3, 2, 1, we're dropping out. Okay. So, cool. Why is my VS code not showing? Okay, cool. Whoa. All right, don't need it that big. Yeah, this is a good size, right, for everyone? Okay, we're going to start. I'm going to start from scratch, and then we're going to walk through the starter kit, and then you can see how it's deployed. And then I'll just explain things as we go along. So let's start totally from a new folder. Let's just create a dummy folder here. Oh, sorry. Cool. And then we're going to open it. Yep, trust all authors. And we're going to open up the terminal. Yeah, so my teammate, Zach, has created this really awesome starter kit that you can just follow step by step, and it should bring you it should bring you through a lot of like the simple commands. And then we ran a hack just 2 weeks ago with ETH Global on this, and using this hard hat, a lot of people were actually able to build out full projects. We had some people actually build out full dApps by the end of the two-day hackathon. So I would think, yeah, it's actually a pretty good foundation to get started on. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna copy this. Very simply, just copy that, go into VS Code, pop it into your terminal. Right. All right, so we're gonna clone that and import it. Give it a second. And while this is importing, I'm gonna show you how to connect your wallet in one step to the Wallaby network and how FVM today works with MetaMask, which we're all really, really familiar with. So if you just go to chain list, we actually have it over here. Just click on testnets, turn that on. And then you're gonna go search for Wallaby. And you're gonna hit connect wallet. Okay. Okay, hope I didn't forget my password. All right, cool. So you have it added to, well, mine's actually already connected, but this is a really easy way that you can connect your wallet. So actually it's already set up for me. So once you've, cool. So I set up, I have a lot of test fill right now because I've been doing this demo multiple times. But every time you go to the faucet, you get about 5,000 test fill. And I'm gonna show you how you can do that right now. So you're gonna go to Wallaby Network. And then you're gonna hit to the faucet. And clear the captcha, which is getting harder and harder, honestly. I feel like at some point, I'm gonna be clearly stupider than the machine and not be able to answer this. Did I get most of that? I think so. All right, cool, I am human. And then we're gonna go to MetaMask. You're gonna just copy your address. So as I mentioned earlier on, we've already, initially when you came here, like about a month ago, you will actually have to translate your address to a Filecoin address through a really manual hash that we put in there, like a calculation. But then now we've actually updated our testnet faucet to be able to just key in your Ethereum address here. So you're just gonna click send, and we're gonna give it 30 seconds to a minute, which is how long it usually takes to get stuff done on the testnet, because an epoch is created about every 30 seconds. So I will give it about 30 seconds to a minute, depending on your Wi-Fi. Cool, we're gonna jump back in, so that should have been installed right now. And if you go back to the hardhat starter kit, you would then set up your private key. Again, just a gentle reminder, never ever show your private key to anyone. But for the purpose of this, yep, so you can see the hardhat kit is fully here. We have contracts that are already set up for you. We have the mock APIs I talked about earlier on. We're going to deploy a simple coin contract and mint an ERC20 token in this workshop today. And so now I will key in my private key just to get my account, connected. Sorry, not here. Right. And then you're going to key in private key, and then hit back to your MetaMask. And then you're going to hit, again, this is a test account. Never, never, ever show your private key to anyone. Cannot stress that enough. Go to your account details, export private key. All right. We're all set. Sorry, I thought I copied it. Okay, we're just gonna do that again. All right. I should learn how to set an easier password for myself. Okay, now I will copy this and pop it back in here. Okay, and then you want to hit save, don't forget that. If not, it gets really tricky. And we're going to just see if that's connected. So how we're going to do that is we're going to just key in the simple command. And there you go, you have two addresses over here. So to briefly explain, the F4 address is the address, the new address class that I mentioned earlier that's created within the FVM. What it actually does is that it embeds your Ethereum address. After passing it through a hash, we actually embed your address into the F4 address. So it's both addresses are interchangeable. You wouldn't actually have to see the F4 address that much. It's just knowing the tech behind it. So cool, we know our account is now connected. So what we're going to do is we're going to deploy this contract over here. This isn't the usual way. You will write an ERC20 token, mint an ERC20 token, but we wanted to just create a really simple contract for you to get started on. A lot of people have been playing around with this, so yeah, feel free to build on top of it. So we're going to do a simple deploy. Compile. Nice, and then we're going to check in the meantime that our test fill has come in. Cool, so just now I had about 1,000, it's 14,999, now I have 19,999, so I had another 5,000 test fill included into my account. So that shows that you've now have test fill to play around with for deploying your contract to the Wallaby network. Okay, so this is still deploying right now. We're going to give it a second because of the Wi-Fi. But not to lose any time, I'm going to jump out and show you Remix at the same time so we can get those both running, just to show you that Remix works as well. We're going to open a whole new browser. I'm just going to use a test contract, just a simple storage contract, just to prove that it works. And then we're going to hit compile. So using Remix is pretty easy. I would say the only thing to take note of is just to change your environment to the injected provider MetaMask. Just remember to do that. If not, you're not going to be connected to the Wallaby network. And then you're going to hit deploy. So MetaMask will pop up, estimated gas fee, and we're going to hit confirm. So yes. Cool. So now that deployment is now pending, we're going to give it a while to deploy. And then we're going to check back on how this one is going. Yep. So while this is loading up, this is just the last bit of the contract that needs to be deployed. I'm going to just show you briefly what the mock APIs look like. So right now we have two mock APIs, one market and one miner. The market one basically allows you to see all the different, so this is going to be a really important built-in actor on the Filecoin network. If you're looking to build any of your storage solutions, you would need to know metadata of your storage deals. And so what this market miner does, if you interact with it with your smart contract, you are able to pull all this data off of your storage deals. So this is going to be a really important one, and you can already start playing around with this. All you need to do once the full library is created is to change the import to filecoin.sol instead of filecoin.mock.sol, and your code should be running fine. So even today, you could actually start building out a project, and in a week, once that is updated, we'll let all of you know on our Slack channel, and then you can easily go in and change the import. The main miner API over here then represents your storage provider, so that's you interacting with a fake storage provider on the network. But once this is implemented, it should allow you to have a smart contract that then proposes how much you want to pay for a piece of data to be stored, and so on. So that's what the miner and market actors are meant to do. Of course, we have many more system actors that are going to be coming up really soon with the full library being built out. All right, still deploying. Okay, let's see how Remix is going. I feel like I'm, one of those chefs cooking two different things at once and just making sure they go out at the same time. Okay, yeah, we usually hit a debug with the simple storage contract that we use, but we're going to go ahead and look at the deployed contracts. So you see over here is deployed. You can then store. Simply, you're going to pay for another transaction with your test fill. So just going to confirm that. So one of the demos that we've been playing around with on Remix is like a data DAO contract using FVM. What it allows you to do is to vote up or down, and based on the voting system and based on the condition that we set, it then allows the storage deal to be published. So that's a pretty cool demo that I've done. I just haven't put it up here, but we'll be showcasing it at Phil Orbit tomorrow. So if any of you are there, you would be able to have a look at what that looks like. Okay, praying to the demo gods that this gets deployed, but if it doesn't, it really, yeah. I would definitely say that, yeah, after this gets deployed, what we would then do is just to do like a simple, it will have about 10,000 simple coin minted, and then we'll do a simple get balance to see how much money is in our account after this has been minted, and it should show up as 10,000. If we get there, we get there, but if not, that would be the demo, but it's just like one step away from finishing the full demo. So if you're able to do it on a machine from Wi-Fi, that would be great. If not, we will leave it here. Okay, cool. So this should have been done. Yep, that has been stored. So we're gonna retrieve. And yeah, you see the retrieval comes out as 100. So works on remix. I know we're almost at time. I'm just gonna do one last check. Okay, kind of stuck here. But as I explained, this is how you can use the Hire a Starter Kit, and you can start deploying on your own. Yeah. So that is the workshop for now. I will give some links on how you can then get connected with the team. Yeah, it's such a bummer that it didn't work out. It's been working on all the other Wi-Fis I tried, so just kind of unfortunate, but you know where it was headed for the demo. So I hope that you have a good time deploying it on your own back at home as well. So if you have any questions, you hit a bug. We have some workarounds here. If you do hit a bug, you can check out our FVM forum. If you do hit any errors, you can always go up to the FVM channel on the Filecoin Slack. That's where you can get the fastest help. I'm going to share a QR code next. This QR code will give you links to the Filecoin Slack. There's an invite over there. Look for the hashtag FVM channel. That's where you can get all the really quick fixes if you hit an error. And then if you want to publish a tutorial, that's where you can put it onto the FVM forum. We have a lot of community contributors to that forum as well. But yeah, next thing, Space Warp. That is the hackathon that's coming up from January to February. If you've played around it enough, through the holidays, we'll see you at the hackathon. We have a lot of great prizes and some capital coming in, so we do hope to see you there. Cool. All right, thank you so much.